Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day to spend with me, because today we're going to be talking about my summer anticipated releases. So for this particular video, I want to talk about a lot of the books that I've heard about that are coming out in either June, July, or August. And seeing that this video will be posted mid-June, some of these books will already be out, but just roll with me, it's fine. And also, please excuse my voice if it turns raspy, if I get a little nasally, or if I'm like sniffing. I'm gonna try to edit it out, but y'all, the allergies are taking me down through there, so just bear with me, and I'm trying to make it as least gross as possible. Let's get into our June anticipated releases. All right, so I have my laptop set up beside me because I don't want to mix up any of these synopses, so just bear with me. But first up, we have The Wren in the Holly Library, and I actually just got this book the other day, but I am too lazy to get up to go get it, so I might add in a little clip of a footage of me kind of showing you what the book looks like, because this book is gorge. Red Tower, nobody's beating Red Tower as far as looks and like how pretty their books are right now. Nobody's beating them. Now the actual quality of the books, I don't know, but at least they're pretty. So let's get into this book. 13 years ago, monsters emerged from the shadows and plunged Kersey's world into a cataclysmic war of near total destruction. The New York City she knew so well collapsed practically overnight. In the wake of that carnage, the monster treaty was created, a truce of sorts. But tonight, Kersey, a gifted and fearless thief, will break that treaty. She'll enter the Holly Library, not knowing is the home of a monster. He's charming, quietly alluring, terrifying, but he knows talent when he sees it. It's just a matter of finding her price. But he's been playing a game across centuries, and once she joins in, there will be no escape. This actually sounds really cool. I'm usually not a big fan of Beauty and the Beast. It's just never been my thing. But I'm hoping that this will, kind of turn me around. It's not a retelling from what I can tell. It kind of just sounds more like it was inspired by that. We'll see. Next, we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. And this book actually really caught my attention. I know she's been making the rounds with like Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip, but those didn't really seem like they would be my type of thing. But this one right here, this sounds so cute and so good, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on it. So it's about Eileen Mitherwary, and she's a professor of literature, and she's set on going to her annual book club retreat this year. She needs good friends, cheap wine, and grand romantic gestures no matter what. But when her car unexpectedly breaks down on the way, she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that feels like it's right out of a novel, because it is. So she finds herself in the town of her favorite romance series, and she's sure she's there to like help this town get its happily ever after or whatever. She runs into this grumpy bookstore owner who is not a character in the book series, and she's trying to figure out what he's doing there, and she figures out that their fates might be intertwined. This sounds so cute, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And then we have Love Unwritten, which is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaire series. Y'all, I ate up Love Redesigned, easily one of my favorite books of last year when I read it, and so I'm really excited to get into this one. But I am a little nervous because this is single dad nanny trope, and I usually don't like kids in books. It's just not my thing. But I feel like, but I think this might work for me just because I really did like his character in the first book. So I'm thinking that, this one will work out for me. I'm at least hoping so, especially after I love the first book so much. So yeah. Alrighty, now we are moving into our July releases, and the first one that we have is Between Friends and Lovers by Shirlene Obuobi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she wrote On Rotation, and I read that, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was pretty good. I ended up giving that 4 stars, so I'm excited to see what she's putting out this year. It's about this woman who has a social media influencer. She calls herself Dr. JoJo, and she kind of mixes medical advice with relationship advice. So basically, she's putting up this front for social media, but in real life, she feels like having her influencer career is underwhelming, but her potential medical career is overwhelming. And she is also hung up on her childhood best friend. And so they're at his birthday party, and he shows up with her childhood bully as his date. And it sends her for a loop for sure. After that whole situation, she's like, okay, I need to actually take my own advice that I'm giving people on the internet, and I need to, put myself first and figure out what I want, who I am, all that stuff. So she meets this author, and he just put out his debut novel, and he's struggling because he's not really a people person, but he knows that he needs to network and all of this stuff for him to be successful. So I think they end up striking up a fake relationship, and then we go from there. Next, for July releases, we have The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love by India Holt, and it's the first book in the Love's Academic series. So this sounded super cute. It gave me Emily Wilde vibes, so let's get into what this is actually about. Rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird in this historical fantasy rom-com reminiscent of Indiana Jones, but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. We have two rival ornithologists, and there's a competition to become Birder of the Year by capturing an endangered bird. They are both forced to team up to have any chance of winning, but now keeping their distance becomes a question of one bid or two, but they must take the risk. For all may be fair in love and war, but this is ornithology. Oh my god, that sounds so cute. And it also sounds like this may be like a one bed trope kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I just think this is just gonna like give me all the cozy cute vibes that I need. And yeah, can't wait to get to it. And then also in July we have The Sky on Fire by Jenn Lyons, and I know she's known for the Chorus of Dragons series, and that has been on my TBR, but it's never pushed its way to become a priority. But this is gonna get me. So this says that it has conniving dragons, high stake intrigue, a daring heist, and a bit of heat. This is a standalone, and y'all know we don't get fantasy standalones often, so that's very exciting. And basically, there is our main character, and she is basically living on survival, and something happens and she gets rescued, but this rescue comes with stipulations. So she kind of gets taken away by this group of misfits who need her help with doing some kind of dangerous thing. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't want to know too much myself, but basically, yeah, this sounds like it's gonna be really good, and I'm excited. Love dragons always, and then to get a standalone and all of this combined just sounds like a good combination. So yeah. And then we have what looks to be a really cute romance, and that's Let the Games Begin, and it's by Rufaro, Faith, Mazarura. I hope that's correct. So this is set against a sizzling hot Greek summer. So we have our main character Olivia. She just graduated from university, so she's on her grind trying to make sure that she gets to work the summer games that are happening in Athens. And so she secures this internship, and she hopes that she can get to run into some of her favorite athletes at the game. And then we have our male main character Ezekiel. He's a star runner for Team Great Britain, and he's ready to claim his place as the fastest runner in the world. But coming into the games, he has some kind of heat and some controversy surrounding his breakup with a star gymnast for Team Great Britain. And so they end up like running into each other, I think actually literally at the games, and they start talking and start building this relationship. But because they're in a very public situation, of course rumors and problems occur, and yeah, they have to kind of navigate that. But it's also set against this beautiful Greek background, and I am so excited. This sounds like the perfect summer romance, and I cannot wait until this comes out. And I'm going to keep saying that, even though that's the reason they're in this video, because I can't wait for these books to come out. But it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so then we have The Villain Edit by Laurie Devore, and this sounds so funny and so cute. So basically, we have this really cynical romance novelist, and she goes on this show like The Bachelor. And so she feels like she's found the love of her life on this show, but then she realizes that she is actually getting the villain edit on this show. So it turns out that one of the editors from the show, or like producers or something, is actually a guy that she had a one night stand with. So he's feeling salty. And so even though she feels like, she's a front runner for this guy, and that she feels like she's going to win and, have his heart or whatever, he the guy she had the one night stand with, the producer, is making sure that she gets the villain edit, and that, yeah. So I think we're going to find ourselves reading for the villain in this, and I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm wondering if it's going to come out that, she had this relationship with the producer, and that's why. I'm hoping so, because we all know I love mess, and that would be peak messiness and something that I'm really into. So yeah, really excited for this to come out. Next, we have one of my most anticipated books of the year. I'm super, super, super excited for this book to come out, and that is Masquerade by Sangoyomi. And this is set in a reimagined 15th century West Africa. It is a lyrical tale exploring the true cost of one woman's fight for freedom and self discovery, and the lengths she'll go to secure her future. Loosely based on the myth of Persephone, Masquerade takes you on a journey of epic power struggles and political intrigue that turn an entire region on its head. So basically, it's about our main character whose town has been taken over, and basically the already bad conditions for women in her area have gotten worse since they've been taken over. And then our main character is abducted by one of the men who was coming through town as it was being taken over. So it turns out that he's not just, someone who has taken her and whatever. He actually is a warrior king, and he has planned for her to be his wife. So that's why he took her. And then she is thrust into this life of like luxury and into the noble. And so basically our main character is going to decide, like, is she going to go against this not cruel prince, this is only black. Is she going to go against this cruel king who has kidnapped her and possibly put her life in danger for the betterment of everyone? And this sounds like it's going to be really cool, and I cannot wait to read it. Moving into our August releases, and first up is the sequel to one of my favorite books of last year, and that is Apprentice to the Villain by Nicole Maehrer. And y'all, I'm so excited for this. I know that Assistant to the Villain was very polarizing, and that people either loved it or they hated it, but I was on the side of love. So I'm super excited that this book is coming out, and I'm guessing that it is just a continuation of Evie and the villain's story. We do not actually have a synopsis for this book yet, so Hannah, give us a synopsis. Thanks. And then we have the 7th book in the Dark Olympus series, which is Dark Restraint by Katee Robert. And I have been following this series since Neon Gods. I think it's really fun, definitely entertaining. It may not be the best literature, but we're going to have a fun, smutty time when we read this book, and that's what I go into them looking for. And the plot actually is pretty cool. I think it's interesting how Katee has kind of reimagined Olympus and all the things that she's doing with the series. So this one will be following Ariadne and the Minotaur, and I can't really say much because this will be a follow-up from what happened in Cruel Seduction, book 6. So yeah, I can't really say much, just know that we're following Ariadne and the Minotaur. Next, we have another one of my most anticipated of the year, and that is This Ravenous Fate by Miss Hayley Dennings. And this is the first book in this Ravenous Fate duology. And Hayley is also a booktuber, so I think you should definitely go check out her channel where you can learn more about this book. But it's the first book in a fantasy duology set in Jazz Age Harlem, where the night at the dance halls comes to life and death waits in the dark. It's 1926, and Reapers, the once human vampires with a terrifying affliction, are on the rise in New York. But the Saints family thriving Reaper hunting enterprise holds reign over the city, giving them more power than even the organized criminals who run the nightclubs. Elise, who is home after 18 years in Paris, is the reluctant heir to the empire. The only thing that weighs heavier on Elise's mind than her family's obligations is the knowledge that the Harlem Reaper wants her dead. Layla is a young Reaper haunted by her past. Though Reapers have existed in America for 3 centuries, created by New World atrocities and cruel experiments, Layla became one just 5 years ago. That night she was turned, she lost her parents to protection of the Saints and her humanity, and she'll never forget how Elise portrayed her. But some Reapers are inexplicably turning part human again, leaving a wake of mysterious and brutal killings. When Layla is framed for one of those attacks, the Saint Patriarch offers her a deal she can't refuse: to work with Elise to investigate how these murders might be linked to the shocking rumors of a Reaper cure. Once close friends, now bitter enemies, Elise Apprentice and Layla explore the city's underworld, confronting their intense feelings for one another and uncovering the sinister truths about a growing threat to reapers and humans alike. So yeah, this sounds like a good time. I'm excited to see what Hayley has come up with, and yeah, ready to get into this one. And lastly, in the month of August, we have The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. And this is about a pair of bisexual exes who accidentally sign up for the same European food and wine tour. And while they're on this food and wine tour, they start this ridiculous hookup competition to prove that they are indeed over each other. And of course, chaos ensues. This sounds very messy and a good time. I feel like there are going to be great descriptions of food and drink and the locations that they're going to be visiting in this book. And I'm really excited to get into all of this. Alrighty, and that wraps up my summer anticipated releases. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me and watch this video. Leave a comment down below about what your most anticipated release for this summer is, and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much and have a great day. Love you. Bye.